If your business is slammed right now, every tech is booked, calls are coming in, and you're still the only one who everyone runs to, this episode is for you. We're talking about how to actually survive your busiest season without burning out your team, or actually losing the jobs that you've worked all year for.
In this episode, we're going to cover these 4 questions. How do you handle a flood of calls without hiring a full-time receptionist? How do you preserve the family-owned feel your business is known for, but yet maintain and stay innovative and keep ahead of your competition? What should you automate first to get the biggest return on your time? And how do you make sure no lead falls through the cracks while every tech is booked solid? And finally, how do you stop being the person everything depends on when your business is at its busiest?
Hello, I'm Crystal Gonzalez, founder of CGX Virtual Solutions, where we help business owners get their time and sanity back by providing them with virtual remote assistants that help them automate in the back end, and it's real human support.
And I am Yamille, and I'm the founder of System IQ. I specialize in helping local service businesses bring technology and automation into their existing operations so that every call gets answered, estimates get followed up on, and revenue does not leak when you're not in the room.
Thank you. So, we're going to start with the first question that we have, which is, how do you handle a flood of calls without hiring a full time receptionist when you're in your busy season? So, Yamil, take it away.
Well, one of the ways that you can do that is if you have somebody already that answers the phone, we have the option of installing a backup answering system. That's not necessarily what a lot of businesses currently have, which is just a static voicemail. We could have interactive voice agents that pick up when the person that's normally in charge of answering the phone is not available, is busy doing something else, or they've just gone home. It's the weekend.
Yeah, that's really important point you're making, cuz I just had an experience last week where I was speaking with a business owner, and they're in their busy season, and they said that they want to make sure that they're not bringing any AI into their business. They just don't like that feel, and that's something that a lot of businesses say. But you know what? When I went to call her back because she had to answer another phone call, I went to call her back and it was like 5:08 p.m. and I got the traditional voicemail box. So it's like, "Hi, you've reached XYZ company. We're only available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Please leave us a message and we'll get back to you on Monday." So I could only imagine how many businesses have this implemented, and they're so resistant on kind of innovating into our new technology where we could actually be having a smart voicemail box that can help filter and make an interactive customer experience, so you're not actually having them hang up the phone and then need to remember to call you Monday, because maybe they won't call you on Monday. Maybe they just pick
Mhm.
up and call the next person who happens to be your competitor.
Exactly. And not just that, but if somebody is calling for some type of home service request or something that they have that's broken, needs fixing, what have you, they're calling. And if they get a voicemail, I don't know about you, but that's not very satisfactory to me. That doesn't actually give me the warm and fuzzies to tell me that somebody's going to get back to me. And are they going to get back to me when I like them to get back to me? Or are they going to get back to me 3 days from now?
Mhm.
And the other thing is too that when somebody's calling a business, they're going to keep calling other businesses if they don't get a satisfactory response
Response.
or they're able to schedule or what have you. So if you have something that actually captures that phone call, either books a temporary appointment, just something, just acknowledges the call, more than likely that person's not going to call the next person. They're going to be like, okay, this is great. I'm taken care of and I'm done. Right.
Mhm. Yeah, and that kind of goes into the question. It kind of combines with our second question we wanted to cover,
Mhm.
which is how do you preserve the personal family owned feel your business is known for while still staying innovative and keeping ahead of your competition? Well, this is part of it, right? Because the issue here is that so many businesses for a really long time, the business has passed from family member to family member. So you have a
Mhm.
client base, a book of business where you have Susie the neighbor and, your old soccer coach, your kids' soccer coach and their family. I mean, you have so many friends and a network of people that really call your business. But as time moves forward, things are moving faster. We've talked about this before. I mean, it used to be, used to stick a postcard in the mail box and, several days passed and then the person got, now we send it by email and or we pick up a phone and call. I mean, things are moving so fast, so everybody's going to be picking up on the new latest things, but you really still want to be able to have that feel of being that family owned business, but you do want to be able to stay ahead of what your competition is doing because you don't want them to win over your business. And I know that a lot of, you know, friends and associates and of the family are going to stick with you, but on the other hand, if they can get a better customer experience somewhere else
Mhm.
because you're busy, I would say 9 times
Yep.
out of 10, they're gonna actually change because I've read a lot of books on this stuff, on the customer experience, and the number one
Yeah.
reason why customers leave is that experience. If they're not I mean, even in insurance, how many brokers don't call back their clients in a reasonable manner, or they're shopping for new insurance, and next thing you know, even if it's their buddy, if you don't return my call, I want the help now, I need the help now. You have an emergency come up, you're my friend, so they hold you even to a higher standard. Like, as a friend, you should have
Mhm.
helped me. So if you're
This is
sending them
true.
to a voicemail box or you're having to let your cell phone be on answer all the time, what type of break do you have? So this is where you can implement something that's a more smart voicemail box and be able to help, have
Right.
a decision chart, right, per se, on or a flow on how that call will be handled by the intelligent agent to be able to still get those calls booked.
Exactly. And the tone of voice of your agent, whether it's a voice agent or a conversation agent, that's all what you want it to be. If you want it to be really friendly, it can be really friendly. If you want it to be very concise and very, stick to this is what I want you to do. I want you to book. I want you to do this. I want you to ask for that. You can do that too. It's highly flexible, and the way that we the technology that we have available to us right now will allow us to do all of that. And
Mhm.
ultimately, it's like whether you love Amazon or you hate Amazon, they have trained us to expect a certain level of service, and it
I
has to
know.
be quick. It
Like,
has
I'm
to be
like, "What do
quick,
you mean it's a 2-day wait? I want it today. I
right?
want what I'm ordering this afternoon. I'll
Love it
search
or
and
hate it, it is the standard, and they have set the
mm,
standard and they have set the bar. And as we know it's hard to hire. We know this. It's businesses are having a tough time hiring. So these are the things that can be done while you're hired, while you're looking for that perfect person or to back up that perfect person when you do find them. Ultimately, you just want to just be able to be the business that people say, oh my God, I'm so impressed. They did this or they handled that or they answered the call in a third ring or whatever it is. It makes you stand out and you want those standout moments
mhm,
for lasting, customer impact. They
mhm.
will remember you for that. They will.
And if you have, like, for example, talking about your busiest seasons, maybe during the busiest season, you have just your overflow agent to be able to help you to be able to catch the after hours, the weekend, the time when every person in your team is on a phone call so that that call still gets answered. At least it will help with the overflow, but when your season winds down a little bit, by all means, you can go back to not having the agent at all. You can turn it off. It's a flip of a switch, people, that you can have this set up. And so
Mhm.
really it's all in your control, but don't lose it. Don't I mean, I think that that's the worst thing is to have an old voicemail box that's picking up the phone and there's absolutely no options other than we are closed right now. Call us back next week. So,
Exactly.
even just giving the option to be able to book an appointment or book a consultation or sending them, a series of questions to find out how urgent this is to determine
Hmm.
if an on-call emergency or not and you want to have someone in the field. But the other thing is I know we've talked about in the past, Yamil, but we talked about kind of discussing this, just touching real lightly, is what
Hmm.
things we can automate first that'll give them the biggest return on their time. Do you want to tell them a little bit about what we discussed and what we think is best?
Yeah. So one of the things that has high impact and is somewhat simple, and there's a couple things. One of them is setting up a missed call text back. So let's say you don't have an agent to answer the phone call, but they call that number. And remember, the potential customer is going to keep calling until they get some resolution to their issue. But if you're able to text them back, even if you're not available and it's obvious that this is an automation, at least they know that you did something. Most businesses
Mhm,
do not do this. I would be
mhm,
willing to bet you dollars to donuts that any business you call will not have this. So by doing this, just one little thing, you're going to stand out in a good way.
mhm,
Another way, automated appointment reminders so that, you have people making sure that they're going to be there. They don't forget about the appointment. Life happens, you know,
mhm. Yep.
and people need to be reminded. They just need to feel like they're being acknowledged ultimately
Mhm.
from the
Yep.
businesses that they're doing business with. Yeah,
The other thing is automated Google reviews. Requests for Google review, those conditions can be set up,
sure.
or even your automated payment reminders. If you don't have a team in the back end to really help you keep up with payments that are due, a lot of system nowadays do have the ability to set up. It's usually in the settings, even QuickBooks has it. It's
Hmm.
just a reminder that goes out to, "Hey, pay your invoice. Hey, your balance is due."
Sure.
Activating these things are really, really important, guys, to be able to help you be able to just keep up with your busy season and make sure your money is still coming in, you're not losing your leads.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then our next question that we have 2 more questions we wanna go over. So, the next thing is, how do you make sure no lead falls through the cracks when every tech is book solid? One of the things that I recommend, and I know Yamil has a few recommendations herself, is that in my business, what I do is I have a general booking calendar. So I have different calendars for different purposes, but I also have like a general, which is just an overflow calendar. And so if you at least have a calendar set up so that it could have just some rules and conditions in there, maybe you have 4 techs in the field and each one serves a quadrant of the valley. So your valley set up in, northeast, southwest, and southeast, right? Something like that.
Right.
You're setting it up, and then based on maybe what the technician's expertise is, it can filter through like which area should I place the call at. But it doesn't have to be perfect. If they get an appointment scheduled and you have even just a general calendar, you can go back and review it and always reschedule them. They're not going to be upset if you're rescheduling them. They're going to be happy that you've reached out and you let them know, you know what? You got put on a calendar, but the actual tech I want to send you with, he's going to be in another part of the valley. So let me get you moved over to when he's in your side of town. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be happy with that and they're going to stop calling. They're not going to call a competitor because they're going to feel like they
Exactly.
are taken
Exactly.
care of.
That's the key thing. So you don't want them to try and calling a number in order to get a response or to get an appointment because when the roof is leaking, I mean, hello, you need immediate action. So you're
Mhm,
not just going to sit there and wait for somebody to call you back. You want an appointment on the books right now.
mhm.
And like Crystal said, you're not going to call them a competitor because their issue, their problem has been at least partially solved. That it's been satisfied. They're not going to feel like they're going to need to keep making. They're not going to make 4 appointments for the same thing. That's just silly. Who wants to do
Yeah.
that?
Yep. And it can be set up so that if it's an emergency, if you're the
Hmm.
agent is asking, is this an
Yep.
emergency? Because one of the things that you can do too is you can have your IVR agent with your phone system once they hit a certain spot in the questions they're being asked, let us transfer you. It's going to say, let me transfer you over to our automated booking agent who's going to get you booked right away. They'll
Right.
know it's an automated system, but it's better than a voicemail box, like just an old voicemail box where they have to leave a message.
Right.
Definitely things to think about. I know a lot of businesses out there are afraid of the new technology, they're afraid of AI, but guys, it can be such a big benefit. The last question we wanted to cover today is, how do you stop being the person everything depends on when your business is at its busiest? I'll let you cover this one.
Well, having a clear set of instructions, if you will, also known as standard operating procedures. This is what we do when this happens. This is what we do when that happens. And that way, the people that do work for you that are in the office, fielding questions, dealing with situations with customers, with other employees, they are going to be able to self-serve the answers. You don't have to be they won't feel like they have to bother the owner every time they've got a simple question, or the manager. So they can self-serve, and if they've got their own autonomy to make decisions, they're going to make good decisions, but you have to empower them too. So that's a couple of ways, is just to have SOPs and have the if this and that sort of things set up,
Decision tree.
scheduling, decision
Decision trees.
trees, uh, answering the IVRs where it kind of routes things a certain way so that the people that are in charge of doing a certain job are getting only that request versus handling everything else. That way it keeps
Mhm.
people focused on what it is they're good at. You, as the owner, don't have to be constantly on your phone. I have a friend who used to do deliveries for the airport. He used to do luggage deliveries. And he would, "Eddie, let's go to lunch." "Okay, great. Go to lunch." We're sitting at lunch and this phone is constantly ringing. Seriously, what kind of lunch is that,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
Can't
So
somebody
many
else
business
deal with
owners
that?
have this
So
problem,
many business owners. You don't have to be the one they call.
but they're afraid to let go.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I think more too, they don't know how easy the process can be on letting go
Hmm.
of those things because they've never done it, and the fear of them losing control. Some of them really, really wanna have control of everything and the fear of that loss, but, there's simple ways to get
Hmm.
SOPs developed. Literally, there's AI ways we
Sure.
can help get SOPs developed, at least something simple to get you going, so that when you're growing, you have team members who can make decisions, but you also have to empower your team. We talked about this as
Hmm.
well, how important it is to let your team be able to make decisions, because if you've always been the one in control and you're the one that makes every single decision, you're not empowering your team and letting your team feel like they're a part. They're just
No,
following what you say every single time, and you will never grow that way. And there's so many
no,
AI tools out there that can help.
it also could lead to a higher turnover as well. Because an employee doesn't feel like their opinions are valued, or their suggestions are valued, or the way that they deal with a customer is valued, because they feel like they always have to ask permission. That's not a great, and it shows to the customer too. They can feel
Mhm.
that an employee feels that way as well. But you know what? The other thing too is, if you have people that are kind of designated to do a certain thing, and that's what they do it really well, and you let the automation, you don't have to automate everything. We're not suggesting that at all. But there's certain things that they don't need a human. They just don't. So
Yeah.
why are you having humans do those things? Let them do
Mhm.
what they're really good at. Let them
Yep.
thrive and provide the service to your customers that they can do, that automation cannot do, right?
Absolutely.
Have that
Absolutely.
human touch, right?
Totally agree. I totally agree. And there's a business owner that called me last week and he told me, he's like, I really need your help because he has an assistant from us already. But he wants another assistant that can just help, that's dedicated to setting his business up with more AI and really automating things, because his managers that he's paying a lot of money to are doing like little tedious things, and
Mm,
he's frustrated. He's like, I'm spending all this money and my management are doing things that could be automated, instead of focusing on the projects and the things that really need really human
Yes,
intervention and attention with. So, and
exactly.
I'm sure he's not
Exactly.
the only business out there that's having that problem, because we get distracted by so much, and we can get busy doing these things, especially even with AI now, like all the cool things we can do nowadays. We have to be careful ourselves not to get off the rail, and actually get work done. But
Exactly.
one thing I will say is that if you're needing any help with automation, setting up these missed call texts back, or automated reviews, stuff like that. The automation infrastructure, Yamille is really good at that with her business. She can help you out. If you need some support, if you need a remote office assistant, you want some help on the back end, you're hitting your busy season and you feel like you're going to have a flood of phone calls coming in and you don't want so much AI handling things, you'd rather have a human to help you out, we can definitely help you on that end as well. We are running a special through the end of May where there's 100 hours of VA services for $8 an hour. So if you're interested in that, and I think Yamil also has an audit that she's offering as well if you
Yeah,
need that.
exactly. And that's all those offers are available. You can start at AITechTuesdays.com is where we put a lot of those things that you can get to book an appointment, get one of our free resources that is available there for you at no cost. That's with our compliments. But I
But
wanted to also mention that, we're talking about AI, talk about humans. We don't have to ever feel like multitasking is a good thing. It's not a good thing. We don't need
I
to be
know.
doing everything. We just don't. And we shouldn't. If we really want to thrive, and as a business owner, you don't want to be the one that's like trying to wrangle everything on your own. You have a team. Let's get make sure that everybody's working to their best ability
That's
and
scaling. That's the right way to
scaling the right
scale.
way and making sure that your customer is taken care of. 'Cause that's really important
Hmm.
for all of us. That being said, thank you so much for
What's our
joining
next
us
episode?
today. Our episode next week. Are you excited? Are you excited, Crystal? I'm excited about this one. It's about the money sitting in your old customer list. That's what we're going to talk.
Yep. Database reactivation, people. We're in the middle of
Yep,
doing this right now, and we've done it a few times in the past, but I'm really excited to be able to share that
yep,
episode with you guys and kind of show you how you can go capture some money that you lost. So,
absolutely.
blast from the past there. Okay, well, it's been great with meeting with you guys today. As always, we love our AI Tech Tuesdays, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
Ask any questions, make comments, let us know if you've got anything that you need help with or you have topic suggestions. We look forward to that as well. Thank you for joining us. See you
Thank
next week.
you. See you next week, guys.